white mittens. "If you drop one in the snow," she warned, "you'll never find it." But Nikki wanted snow white mittens, and finally, Baba made them.
Who is Baba?
Remember, Baba is his grandma.
I call my grandma Granny. I can work in the
After she finished, she said, "When you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound, but then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens." So off Nikki went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind.
I see what happened.
A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay.
As the one rabbit, it's called a mole. Oh, yeah. Those are two white.
A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wiggled in, feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he knew.
What a mitten. That's gonna connect and that's gonna connect.
When he says his rabbit's big kickers, what do you think they're talking about? Vanessa, what do you think they're talking about?
His feet.
Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered with prickles. They made room.
Prickles. What is prickles? Thorns.
It hurts you.
Like roses.
Well,
It's all like that.
Remember shine, guys.
As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in, also the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled. But when they saw the owl's flinty talons, they quickly let him in.
Wait, what is that bird stuff? It's gone away.
That's a mitten. They're in a mitten.
So that it would make it around.
Up through the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left, but when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. They gave him the thumb. What is that?
The thumb of the glove. The thumb of the glove. Because the thumb is so small.
It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox trotting by stopped to investigate. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave the fox lots of fruit.
Why? Because the fox is big and it needs lots of fruit. Oh, like you get it bigger and bigger.
Do you think the fox is going to fit?
No. But the bear that's going to come.
A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as could be. But what animal would argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bulged too many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast. We're almost through. Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wriggled into the one space left and made herself comfortable on top of the great bear's nose.
What, he's so tiny. What have I right here? That is on the nose. No, look.
Somebody drew in the book.
Great bear. Where's the mouse?
The bear, tickled by the mouse's whiskers, gave an enormous sneeze. Achoo! The force of the sneeze shot the mitten up into the sky and scattered the animals in all directions.
Oh, the hedgehog right there. What? Look, where's the mouse?
On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost Mitten, silhouetted against the blue sky.
Wait. Go over there.
Shh. As he ran to catch his snow-white